Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, my name is Psychic Bella Love, and you can always book your own personal private reading with me on my website, psychicbellalove.com. And until March 31st at midnight, you can take 35% off most readings on my site with code MARCH. And we also have buy two, get one free, no coupon code needed, listed under services. We also offer video readings. So that will be linked in the description box below, along with my Amazon storefront with all of my favorite spiritual supplies. And you can join my Patreon. That is the only place that I take requests for video readings. And I post exclusive content most days per week, and we go live weekly over there. That's where we talk about the conspiracy theories, the Illuminati, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to follow my Instagram or my backup channel, all of my information will be in the description box below. So I saw a rumor going around. Actually, somebody made a whole video about it, but then I'd seen other people posting this rumor too on different pages. It wasn't on like any like main blog site or whatever, that apparently, allegedly, Solange and Beyoncé fell out with each other because they were citing that Solange usually is the first to congratulate her sister whenever she, breaks a record, wins an award, puts out an album, and she hasn't done any of that recently. And they claimed that the reason why Beyoncé had to get foot surgery was because the beef turned into a physical altercation, and that it was allegedly over apparently Beyoncé blackballing Solange in order to be the number one in the family, as well as the number one in the industry. And since, Joe Budden and Noriega made their comments about Jay making calls to people, and everybody's kind of insinuated or outright said over the years that they definitely mess with people's careers behind the scenes. I wanted to take a look at this and see if there's any truth to it. So let's get into it. Spirit, please tell me, what can we know about the relationship between Beyoncé and Solange? Thank you. And if you want to know any of the stuff about Beyoncé and the Illuminati and everything, join the Patreon. We have more than covered that over there. But we get censored far too much on other platforms, so I have to keep the deeper dive, more inflammatory things on Patreon. So let's see what Spirit and the cards have to say about their whole situation. Okay, so the first thing that Spirit's saying is, as far as the family goes in general, Beyoncé was always earmarked or positioned to be the number one star. Solange was never going to be pushed, whether that was by their dad, the industry, whatever you want to blame, or give credit to for Beyoncé's success. Not that they didn't see that Solange had any talent. It's more so just that they always felt like, Beyoncé was going to be the star, and so they poured everything into her. And I don't get that Solange is super jealous of that, because there's a lot that goes on, in being Beyoncé. if you're in the Patreon, you know, but, you know, just for the surface level, the paparazzi and all of like this stuff, being in your business and the constantly having to work your ass off and everything, like Solange enjoys being able to be out there when she feels like it, but also have somewhat of a private life and have downtime and be able to kind of do her own thing. And she also feels like, you know, she's gotten to branch out into other things that maybe her sister would not have been able to do because we only expect or want a certain version of Beyoncé, whereas Solange can be the creative, artistic, hippie, whatever you want to call her one that goes and has an art show because she got into painting, and the next week she's into crystals, and the week after that she wants to run around in a field of poppies and make a documentary about it. Like, she can do those things, whereas with Beyonce, everything always has to be centered around her music. And so she doesn't, you know, she feels like she's far less restricted because of that. However, I also get that she feels that there is this living in her sister's shadow when she does do certain things, and like she is restricted from, if I did want to release my documentary about flying around in a field of poppies, I will not be allowed to do that because my sister had an album that just came out and the powers that be do not want both of us to be getting all of the attention at once and there being any sort of competition for that. And I'll be honest, it is showing up that she does feel at times like, even if it's not her sister, maybe it is Mr. Jay-Z that pulls some strings behind the scenes to keep the spotlight on Beyonce rather than Solange getting her own fair share of it, because it's talking here about, like, you know, I try to do certain things and I'm not being seen. There's unseen forces that try to stop me from that and keep me from being able to be as big as, you know, or my projects or the things that I do being as big as I would want them to. So there's arguments about that. I feel like there was a discussion that became heated, and it is showing up that it is very centered around a man that she sees as the King of Swords, and Spirit saying this is Jay-Z in this sense, because she feels like he has a very mean side to him and he is very cutthroat and he will do whatever he needs to do to secure the bag, no matter who he screws over or steps on to get there. And, you know, we'll be honest, like, she doesn't really care so much when it's everybody else, but when it is about her, that's when it becomes a problem. She also just feels like, in general, like, you don't treat my sister well, so I don't like you for that reason. I've put up with you. I've tried to be peaceful. We've obviously had our own issues in the past, and I put those to bed for my sister's sake, but you're always somehow a thorn in my side, whether it's that you're mistreating my sister or that I'm getting the shit into the stick because of it. So I do get that her feelings are very hurt because she feels like Beyonce doesn't do enough to stand up for her, and sort of always is just like, stay out of it, leave it alone, you know, whatever, like, it's fine, and just expects Solange to just kind of eat it, so to speak. So there is a Tower card with this Judgment card here talking about that there is a conflict in them not being in communication with each other. So it is very true that there was an argument. Spirit is saying it was not physical, though. Beyonce was going to have foot surgery regardless, or was it knee surgery, whatever. It had absolutely nothing to do with Solange kicking her down the stairs like that video and rumors were suggesting. I think that's just because they saw, you know, her issue, the beating onto Jay, that people think that like, oh, well, she probably did that to her sister as well. So that's where it's just like, no, like there was no pushing, punching, hair pulling or anything like that. It was just, we had a big argument. It was centered around Jay-Z. It turned into other things. And because I'd been holding all of this stuff in and feeling like my career is always dependent on you in one way or another, I unleashed those feelings and let it be known that I was unhappy with other stuff because I was already telling you that I don't like the way that he moves about other things. And Spirit saying that it was really like the whole argument started over her telling Beyoncé, like, just divorce him. Because if you watched my other video that I recently did on their relationship, they're living apart. They've been separate for a while. Spirit didn't give any day on when they'll announce their separation because they have to be allowed by whoever handles and rolls over them to do so. But it was Solange, you know, telling her sister, well, then go tell them, like, you want to leave. And Beyoncé being like, you don't understand what I go through. I can't. And it just went from there. So let's see, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this? Yeah, there's something about Solange had a project that she wanted to drop, was told to wait because Beyonce had Renaissance coming out. Then she was told, oh, well, because we're releasing the tour dates, you need to wait. And it's just like, I'm constantly being told, you can't do this because your sister has something coming. You can't do that because your sister's going to do XYZ thing. And it's just like, I understand that, you know, things happen at sometimes. But on the other hand, I don't want to spend the rest of my life constantly having to ask for permission to do my own stuff because you might be doing something. So, let's see. She also feels like their mom takes Beyonce and Jay-Z's side so much against her. And she feels like Jay-Z has everybody around him either blinded or scared. And she's not. It's just like, I don't give a shit about you, who you are and what you used to do and who you claim to be, you know. And it's just like, you've got everybody wrapped around your finger when you don't deserve that, but I'm not scared of you. But yet, you know, everybody takes your side and makes me out to be the bad guy when I say anything. And it really is because it's control and fear tactics, because you have all this power and you have all this money that you get away with this. But she literally sees him as the devil. She does not like him. Boy, she knows that something about, or she's heard the stories, and this came up in that last reading about him having like another family outside of the kids that he has with her sister. And that's what led to this disagreement with her sister, her bringing that up. She doesn't want to make up with any of them anytime soon either. I feel like she's going to be talked into it because their mom always comes along and convinces her, let it go. That's your sister. You should be happy for her. Like, I'll deal with it. I'll talk to them. But she's holding out longer than she has in the past onto, you know, the way that she feels about things and not being super happy with this situation, because we have the Hangman and the Hermit with these cards denoting her being unhappy with everything. But she'll end up making up with them, like I said, because of the mom. But see, it's confirming that she feels like they make calls and pay people to hold on to projects, to hold on to people so that her sister can elevate. And like I said earlier, it's okay when it's anybody else, but not when it's Solange, you know? Oh boy. I was expecting the cards to be like, oh, it's just rumors, they're okay. I wasn't expecting it to actually be that they really are having all these fights. And it's also confirming that Solange, because she is a natural witch, just like their mom, has been tapped at times to step in and do spiritual work on her sister's behalf. And so, again, she feels like, I do so much for you and get so little in return. Like, if I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll stay up for a week straight with mom and do spells to make sure that your next album, you know, hits the charts or that you get that Grammy award or whatever, then why would you turn around and blackball me or stall my projects? Like, that's messed up. And especially because, you know, the way that Solange sees it, what we do is so different. My music isn't like yours. The things that I create is not the same as what you do. So why would you ever see it as what I'm going to do is going to create any type of competition amongst people? Spirit, how does Jay-Z feel about Solange? Thank you. He actually admires a lot about her because she really is her own person so much. And she doesn't just go around and kiss people's butt because, oh, you're Diddy, oh, you're, you know, Julia Roberts or whoever. Like, she's more about, who are you? What do you bring to the table? What kind of a person are you? And do I get along with you? On if I want to mess with you. Like, I don't care so much about having to kiss people's butts for industry connections and to, you know, for the PR of all of it. And he admires that she's able to be her own person. Like, he does see it as like, you stop your own bags doing that. And, you know, at the end of the day, Jay-Z's all about business and money in the bag. But it's still like, you know, you can admire that somebody is strong in who they are on their own. And it's showing that he really did at first, like, really like her and see her as a little sister. However, he understands, you know, maybe where she's coming from in the past when she has gotten mad at him. As far as, you know, yeah, that's your sister, so I'm sure you wouldn't like it that I cheated on her. You wouldn't like it that I was flirting with Rachel Roy at the Met Gala, or that I've done certain things. Like, that's understandable. But also, he sort of feels like if everybody forgives me, then you should too. Because there's this Four of Swords that he feels like she holds grudges. And even though everybody else is forgiven and moved past this and we're all the happy family once again with this Ten of Cups, Solange is still holding that grudge in her head. She still is always looking for another opportunity to argue with me or fight with me, because Spirit's saying they've had other disagreements, just obviously none is public. As on any type of elevator that like the rest of the world saw, it's more, you know, Thanksgiving, and she just like mutters under her breath, "You're a piece of shit," and walks out the door. And then like he goes out to tell her like, "Why'd you call me that?" And then they start arguing in the driveway. You know, it's constantly back and forth where they'll be cool and then they get in their fights and then they're cool again and then they get in their arguments. And so when he really feels like you're holding the past against me, you're holding grudges against me from things that already happened, like, let it go. But there's still that part of him that also understands why she would feel a type of way about him. But he still admires her, which is interesting. But it is confirming that he does do things that hold her back when she does want to release anything, because the priority is his wife. And the reason why the wife is the priority is because, once again, it benefits his bottom line in the bag. So, well, and Spirit's saying she's never going to fully forgive him or look at him completely differently. It's like, I get along with you because I have to, because my sister is still dealing with you and for the sake of my, you know, nieces and nephew, but I'm always going to still have that I don't like you energy in the back of my head. So anyways, guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap that up here. I love you. Make sure that you are subscribed, like the video, do all the YouTubey things to help me out, please. And because, you know, last year I didn't get to do as much YouTubing as I wanted to, with my son having broken his leg and having to recover from all of that. So I'm trying to get the channel back on track. So I really appreciate the support and the help with that. If you wanted to book your own personal private reading, join the Patreon, follow me on Instagram or any of that stuff. That information will be in the description box below. And what do you think about this whole situation with Solange and her sister, and the fact that the cards were confirming that they have put a stop to some of Solange's bags in the past? Are you surprised? Let me know, and I will see you guys all again soon. Bye.